The smoke will turn into a flame one day. The wave will turn into a tsunami one day. And eventually the wind will turn into a cyclone one day. All those small achievements will turn into a great victory one day. Out of the dynamic warm-up, ladies and gentlemen, and right into the activation period. We're going to start off with some core. Here you see us doing a hollow hold. I'm giving Malik the critique or technique point here to push his lower back into the ground to ensure full activation of the abdominals. You want to imagine yourself being a banana almost, right? And really pushing that lower back in the ground and allowing the entirety of those abdominals to contract. One of my gymnastic friends in the WWE actually taught me that move, and I promise you, nothing has ever smoked my abs quite like that movement. Here I'm moving on to a shot put med ball pass. Here you see I have a slightly wider than shoulder width base, and I am generating as much power through my feet, up through the entirety of my body, and throwing that med ball as hard as I can against the wall. The ball is a representation of how efficient I am at generating that power and sending it up through my body and out my shoulders. The harder the ball hits, the more energy I was able to create. And more importantly, the coordination and efficiency of delivering that power. This is something that everybody should be able to do. Rotational power is extremely important, not just professional athletes, but the everyday gym warrior should have this in their arsenal as well. Rear foot elevated goblet squat. You could hold dumbbells to your side, you could hold kettlebells to your side, you could hold them in a front squat position. Here we had some heavy slam balls, so that's what I used instead. Here, this is really about just getting blood flow, getting those quadriceps activated. We've got 2 sets of 20 here in our activation period. Right here, I'm really focusing on squeezing those quads. We then move on to kettlebell swings. Just your traditional kettlebell swing here. Nothing fancy. I'm really focusing on pushing those hips back and snapping through. As soon as the kettlebell gets to eye level, I'm then actively pushing it back down to then snap it back up. It's all in the hips, baby. It's all in the hips. Here we are moving on to library deadlifts. This is my first set. We have 5 sets of 7 reps here. Now, the importance of a library deadlift, or I guess what a library deadlift is, it is a deadlift where you are completely controlling the eccentric portion of the lift. Most times you see deadlifters, they lift it up, but they just drop the weight on the way down. Here we are not doing that. In fact, we are lowering it with such control that the barbell is not making any noise when the weights hit the floor. Hence the name library deadlifts. One of the important things to know about when deadlifting is notice how I have no slack in my arms when I lift it off the ground for the first time. There's no jerking, there's no pulling. I make sure that I'm in perfect alignment. My back and my lats are engaged, and when I'm in that position, I then pull the weight off the bar off the ground without any momentum. Here I'm moving up in weight. I'm feeling pretty good this day, to be honest with you guys. And so we're getting after it. I'm feeling good here. Also, cue Not only am I lifting the weight, my mind-muscle connection here is at like superb levels. I am trying to squeeze and engage every single muscle I have going on in the posterior chain. One of the cues I like teaching my clients when I'm training them, or anybody that I'm lifting with, imagine you're standing on a giant piece of construction paper and you're trying to rip that piece of construction paper apart with your feet. There's a torquing process with your feet that are going to take place. That's what you're going to do when lifting, right? That also applies for squatting, but it also applies for deadlift. And what that's going to do is that's going to turn your hamstrings and glutes on like no other, even before you lift the bar, which is how you build muscle. You have to find ways to create maximal tension from the very beginning of the lift, throughout the entirety of the motion, and to the end of the lift.
All right, last set. 405. This is what a library deadlift sounds like. Or doesn't sound like work.
Next movement we're moving on to here is a Zercher landmine lunge. This is one of my absolute favorite exercises to do, specifically for hamstring and glute growth, right? As you see, not only am I lifting up, pushing up, and raising up, I'm leaning into the bar. So this lift allows me to create tension not only vertically but horizontally, giving me a three-dimensional plane of resistance, which allows the pump to just be out of this world, ladies and gentlemen. I've got 4 sets of 10 here, I believe. I believe that's right. I can't remember off the top of my head. Watch the video and count the reps for me. Let me know in the comment section how many reps I was doing. But that's all we have for today, boys and girls. I'll catch you next week. Later!